I'm Erica Hollingsworth, and you're listening to the F1 podcast.
What's up, everybody? It is Adrian from the F1 podcast here, bringing you season 6, episode 7. And this week, unfortunately, John can't make it, so we had the next best person to replace. It's Ollie. Say hi to Ollie, everybody, with Erica.
What's up, everybody? It's me and my cat Ollie. Say
Oh,
hi
that's a
to
butthole.
his
Okay.
third
All
eye.
right. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Thanks, Ollie. Well, you know, uh, it is race week in Japan, and it's going to be
Yes.
the last one before I maybe like May 3rd.
Yeah, we've got over a month break between the two with the cancellation of Saudi Arabia and Bahrain.
So we figured let's just do a little fun podcast this week. We're gonna do a couple things like news headlines because there was a lot, and
hmm
then as well we're gonna do a little fun game for the Japanese Grand Prix, a little this or that, and it should be exciting. It should be fun. You can play at home too, and feel free to drop in the comments as well what your thoughts were in the this or that game. But first and foremost, we had news that Adrian Newey at Aston Martin is stepping down as the team principal, staying on as the technical director with quote unquote full support from Lawrence Stroll. Erica, I'm not surprised by this whatsoever. The team principal role, as we mentioned before, was not Newey's strong suit. He's a technical guy through and through. So I'm kind of happy we're understanding this right now.
It's better to have this happen earlier in the season than to keep dragging it out in a lot of ways, I think. I think I don't think anyone was really shocked by this. Things have not been going well over at Aston Martin, and there have been such high expectations put on the team this season. And they've just kind of been steadily losing momentum over the last 2 years, right? So it was probably an easier decision to make than some people might have thought on both sides of it.
Well, and there was concerns that the Japanese Grand Prix was not going to go on this week. There were reports of earthquakes around Suzuka, but we found out it was just Aston Martin's engine vibrating around the track.
You
So,
lose.
Not me being like, wait, what? Earthquakes?
yeah, so hopefully we can vibrate everybody off the road for 1-2 at home this week, which would be great. But yeah, I, I never really thought it was a great move to begin with to put him in the team principal role. He's always been a technical director guy. And
Yeah.
you see it like, let's put the football analogy. You have an offensive coordinator who's like, offense is his thing, right? He knows how to construct it. Then he goes and becomes a head coach and he continues on his duties. Usually doesn't work out that well because it's just the separation of duties. It's just too much on your plate at once. Team principal, there's a lot of administrative deals, right? You're at the top of the food chain in that regards, and you can't focus as much time on the car, especially when it's his car. So,
Yeah.
y- yeah, I mean, important that they did it. Does it suck for Newey? I think it does. I think it's kind of hurting him a little bit from an ego perspective and just kind of he's probably
Absolutely.
exhausted as well.
Yeah. Well, and it's been a tiring start to the season for sure, between the chaos of not even really being able to run any laps in the first race particularly well, to I think a disappointing turnout in race two, despite maybe like a little bit more hope and progress in the car after that one. It's really just kind of, I'm sure, frustrating on all sides. So a change of scenery is needed. You need someone, yeah, let him focus on where we know he excels on the technical side. Bring in someone else who maybe is a little bit better at managing vendor relationships and contract negotiations and holding people to account, so that he can really spend that time where it matters most at this particular moment, which is 100%.
Well,
Apologies on that. We had a little earthquake over
oh.
here in the form of my cat jumping off my shoulder.
I think his tail's kind of flapping in the distance still, though. But
Ollie needs to make his opinion known in a moment.
he didn't like it. I don't think. I don't think he liked Adrian Newey being part of the team principal side.
Tell us what you really think.
He's like, I'm just gonna bury my head, Mom. I'm here so I don't get
No
fined.
strong opinion. I'm here so I don't get fined.
Do a barrel roll.
But
But
with
yeah.
that news, kind of led to some rumblings amongst other teams in Formula One. There was Adrian Horner, who's wanting to come back as Aston, take on a role at Alpine, but this kind of role came at Aston Martin, and it was reported that Newey rejected this idea of Horner coming in to be the team principal at Aston Martin. So you only know how that relationship ended out at Red Bull.
Yes. Well, I can imagine like part of his frustration, I'm sure, came a little bit out of the scandal that broke a few years ago, right? There were a lot of people over at Red Bull who were kind of questioning their decision to stay on if he were to stay with the team. So I think it's not shocking that he would not necessarily want to bring that same energy kind of over and risk similar outcomes coming about. But it'll be interesting to see what kind of divas are entering like the villa, right? Like what new
Yeah.
bombshells entering the villa at this point in time. I was joking the other week that with the cancellation of Bahrain and Saudi Arabia, that we might have a first silly season kind of because we have this month-long break, and I think we're gonna get it based on some of the other stuff we're seeing too.
Yeah, because we had Jonathan Wheatley announce his departure at Audi, or it was a team's mutual decision to both let go. Yeah, mutual as in Wheatley wanted to leave for that Aston Martin money in that regards. But they have like blast from the past. Mattia Binotto is now the team principal
I'm
at
excited.
Audi. Hilarious.
I was really surprised because with Audi just entering into Formula One this year, to see turnover that quickly on a team was a little bit shocking, in my opinion. But like we said, there's the opportunity to maybe move to Aston Martin and bring, some expertise and skill set or some needed structure over there. And yeah, I mean, how many times do we get some pretty great interviews and moments with Matteo Binotto over the years? So I think a lot of folks are excited to see him come back
Yeah.
in a team principal role.
Well, and I was surprised that Andreas Seidel didn't do what his former, I guess, let's say, mentor in Zach Brown kind of did, because he's the CEO now at team at Audi. Why didn't he just kind of do like the joint role, like the CEO team principal? I know we talked about earlier that separations of duties is best than not, but you almost kind of think that would have been the next play for the German squad.
Yeah, like there's a lot of folks who do that. They kind of collapse the two together in order to, I don't know, sometimes it's like you need that executive presence at the top, maybe a more authoritative overlay, but each team has its own dynamics. For some folks, that doesn't really work super well. It's a little bit too much, especially if someone maybe doesn't have the right skill set or expertise to kind of manage what you need to as CEO and team principal type of thing. But I'm excited for him to come back though, like to see.
So it'll be interesting. There's no like confirmation yet that Wheatley is appointed as Aston Martin's team principal. I don't know like how long that process is going to take if he is going to sign with them. But to me, you're not stepping down or leaving a team just for that sake of it, right? Like this has got to be
Yeah.
a pretty straightforward. He's going to Aston Martin at some point, and we're just waiting for the garden period to be finished.
Yeah, it is a little surprising because you'd think with this being a new team, we're only a couple races into the season, that it would be at least wait, till the midpoint. If things are going catastrophically wrong, at that point you can make a change, but it's still so early. And I don't feel like Audi's been doing like really all that terribly. Hulkenberg finished P11 last week, almost in the points. Bortoleto is putting on a pretty good show in the car. Like he's still a young guy. He's still got a lot to learn in F1 in general, I think, but it's not like they're way at the back of the pack with the Cadillacs and the Williams and the
Aston Martin's.
and the Aston Martins. They're still putting on a pretty good show. He's making it to Q2 and qualifying. Like, I think that's really the bulk of what you can ask for from them at this point in time as they continue to go. So I do wonder if he's got a really great opportunity or contract kind of lined up, or if we're gonna hear about some crazy internal shenanigans as, Bernardo steps in and is like, what on earth have I inherited?
I'm honestly hoping that you're right, though. This kickstarted the silly seasons because we need some action this next month. If we're not going to have a race, I want something that just blows our mind off, like Lewis Hamilton to Ferrari type level. Knock your
Exactly.
socks off.
Yeah, I
Who
keep seeing all of
reportedly
these.
was with Kim Kardashian in Japan.
You know what? I can see them. It's good for them to get there early, I guess. I'm trying
When's
to
the
be
wedding is
nice.
my
I don't know.
question.
Okay, okay. I think for both of them, We know both. She might be ready to move a little faster. We know Lewis loves a glacial pace when it comes to a lot of these things. He likes to take his time. But honestly, what was it in our group chat? We were all kind of joking about it, and we're like, you know what? He's had a pretty rough go the last few years,
Yeah.
work-wise, with Roscoe and a whole bunch of things. Let him have a nice time wherever this may lead and whatever might come of it, right? So,
It was funny. There was like a Kim K Stan account on Instagram that took a photo of like Kim K with Lewis Hamilton, or like there's a video of them in Japan, and all the comments are like, "Screw Kim K. You know, you just saw the Lewis Hamilton, right?"
like, do you know who that is?
It was
Like,
perfect.
but do you know who that is?
The F1 fans came out full force. It was awesome.
I love that. Everyone's gonna speak up for the people that they want to
Oh
see
yeah.
more. Gotta put them in their place. Gotta let the people know what's up.
Well, and it'll be interesting. I mean, like it'd be interesting to see if Kim K is in the paddock this weekend in
I think she will
Suzuka.
be. I would be surprised if she was not in the paddock or at least, in one of the boxes near the finish line and stuff where they've got kind of like all the crazy grandstanding.
I think Ollie
Ollie
want.
was very excited. He loves reality TV, and so as soon as he heard Kardashian, he needed to come and insert his 2 cents.
Ollie, do you think she's gonna be there?
Do you think she's gonna be there?
That goes for a yes, in my opinion. The years moved.
Silence is everything.
Love it. But yeah, that is Japan's coming up. I'm excited. I love Suzuka. It's just such a cool track. We've had some many great moments. So as a result, we're gonna play a little game, this or that. So Erica, I'm gonna give you two options, and I want to tell
Okay.
you if you're gonna want this to happen or
Mm.
that to happen at this week's Japanese Grand Prix in Suzuka. So
All right.
first, Verstappen coming on a heater at Suzuka. He's won four in a row. He's won the title there two times, and now he's, where the calendar changes over. He won there last year at a master class of just, qualifying lap after qualifying lap, pretty much he put in
Yes.
to beat McLaren. So, will you think, would you rather have Verstappen continue, even though like Red Bull had a bad year? This would be a great win for Red Bull this year if they were to win in Japan. So, Verstappen's fifth win in a row at Suzuka, or Ollie Behrman showing some signs of life this season, doing really well in that Haas car. What if he bags a podium? So would you like that, or like Verstappen winning, or a Behrman podium?
It's a great question. What do you think, Ollie?
Hmm.
He is, so here's the thing. You know me, I love the winners, and I would love to see Red Bull do well because I want a little bit more fire and competition in this season. But also, I've been super impressed with Ollie Behrman ever since he subbed for Carlos Sainz when he had his appendix removed a couple of years ago. Um, I'm gonna go Behrman podium.
Behrman podium would be fantastic for my fantasy team as well.
Mhm.
So I
Same.
concur. Yes, yeah, 100%. We're going Behrman podium all the way. We love you, Max, but just not this weekend, unfortunately. Okay,
Not this week.
so we're going to continue on with Behrman. So Behrman podium, or speaking of the team we were just kind of talking about with Binotto coming in, being the new team principal, would it be cool to have Audi score some points in his first race as team principal? So Behrman podium or Audi points this weekend?
I'm still gonna go Behrman podium.
Yeah, again, fantasy purposes say Behrman podium to the nines. So
I don't Again, I was saying, like I said, we're gonna have a new bombshell in the villa from like a team principal standpoint, shake things up. I want to see what's gonna happen on the driver's side if we throw another person into the championship mix, right?
like Vil and me would love to see Audi have like their worst weekend. It'd just be like, it just becomes chaos
Oh, it's
as a
just like, oh, we
result.
had a changeover, everything's falling apart. Ah,
Which would be like, all right, fine. Okay, so we have Baron Podium, continue on. All right, so we have Baron Podium, or Suzuka's fans, are world class, and they're traditionally known for keeping the track cleaner after the race than when they arrive, right? Which is incredible. So would you rather have a Baron Podium, or the fans ensure that the track is cleaner after the race, when after, more clean than when they arrived?
fans keeping the track cleaner when they leave than when they arrive.
I agree. It's one of the coolest traditions I think at a race. It's just seeing them. It's like spotless to begin with, and then it's like even more spotless.
I love it. It's everyone just like got so much respect for everything around them. People have their bags. You see everyone tidying up. It fills my heart with such joy. So that's my I love Behrman. Again, it would also be great for my fantasy team, but I would love it even more when they show us how much everyone's coming together after the race to stick
Too
around and
bad.
make sure
There's too bad there's
everything's
like no
tidied
way to
up.
measure it. But you could put like a responsible level bet on that it's happening. It would be kind of interesting.
Gotta see if there's like a live drone or satellite view of the track and you can take photos before and after to see what it looks like.
Only track to have a figure eight in the calendar too, which is kind of cool as well.
Cool.
All right, so we want the fans ensuring the track is cleaner after the race than when they arrived. Or would you rather have a flawless race start without a single mechanical issue, which is near impossible this day and age?
Ooh, I'm gonna go flawless start because it was so disappointing at the last race in China when we had so many cars that weren't able to start or were immediately kind of backing out. It was so disappointing in Australia when we had people who were not even making it to the grid at the start. I would love it if we could get all 22 cars through lights out, through the first turn, something of that
You
nature.
know who would really appreciate that, I imagine? Oscar Piastri.
I would appreciate it too as a Papaya fan, because like I said before, guess who's raced as many laps of a Formula One race this season as Oscar Piastri? This lady right here and that guy right there on the other
Combined.
side of the camera.
Combined.
Combined.
Which is crazy. Like sprint race aside, this guy hasn't seen one lap of an
Not a
actual race.
single lap, which
Which
is
is hilarious. I
crazy.
love this post, what he's done the last 2 weeks of watching F1, just being in the gym, hanging out with the dog. It was great. People were a little overboard in terms of their comments, being like, this is not funny, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you gotta make the most of a
Joke, take
crappy
it.
situation. Like, come on.
I firmly believe that if you don't laugh, you'll cry. So I'm choosing to laugh.
I choose to laugh too. So awesome. So we chose a flawless start.
Well,
Unless
start.
you're-
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if you know this, but Fernando Alonso at the ripe age of, I think, 42, just had his first child this past week.
Congrats.
Congratulations, Fernando. So, would you rather have a flawless race start or Fernando score a podium? I don't even know if that's possible. We'll say points or podium on his child's first weekend of life.
Oh, as lovely as that would be, I just feel like that's so far from the realm of possibility. I can't bring myself to think about it, so I'm sticking with the flawless mechanical non-issue start.
The only way for, as I mentioned, the only way for Aston Martin to even score points is if they vibrate everybody off the track. Like they would need to like literally just have the vibration shockwave so bad that people then just dip into the wall.
It would be like when you're in Mario Kart and you get the like sound box, and when you use it, it's like the sound waves go out and people spin out, and go everywhere. That's kind of what it would be with the Aston Martin for them to
Aston
get.
Martin right now would be like you're in dead last and you get the bullet and you activate the bullet and you're still in dead last by the time you're done.
And then you get blue
Another
shell,
bullet,
blue shell, blue
blue
shell,
shell.
chain chomp, little piranha plant thing, and you're still stuck at the back.
Yeah, it's just like nothing goes right for them. So okay, flawless race start, completely agree. All right, flawless race start, or because John's not here this week, we have to be nice. And what if Charles were to win at Suzuka? What are your thoughts?
I still kind of want to go flawless race start. I love Charles. I want him to get a win,
I would rather see
but
Lewis win before Charles, in my opinion.
I would agree. I would rather see Lewis win. I know we've talked about how it's going to be a contentious place to be in, depending on how Ferrari is doing and who's going to be the number one driver if they're both in contention. But yeah, I really just want that flawless race start without a mechanical issue
Fair.
compared
I
to
would
what we
love
have.
to see like a Lewis win, and I just love to see Kim K's reaction to it. And if she'd be like going overboard, just clap. I don't know. In a weird way, I kind of want to see what her reaction would be to her new boyfriend winning a race at F1. But okay, so we have flawless race start. Okay, so speaking of flawless race start, we were talking about this. Oscar has not started a race yet this year. So would you rather have flawless race start or Oscar starting and finishing a race?
Oscar starting and finishing a race.
He's got to.
I would love for him to just participate in the thing he's paid to do.
Well, just imagine not finishing a race until like May,
Oh,
because
I
that's
wasn't
the
even
route we're
thinking
going
about that with
down.
the break. Yeah, that's really rough. And I think at that point there would be a lot of questions raised about whatever the heck is going on at McLaren. Like we're already questioning things enough because this is not the start we expected after last
Mhm.
season at all, after the last two seasons, really. But my goodness, what like t horrific. And I just think Oscar's a nice guy. And I don't want him to become the villain of the season, but we're working our way toward an origin story of sorts if we don't get this started soon.
Well, and the thing is, we need like I don't know. You have to see. You want to see Oscar's finish race because, then likely, you're hoping that Norris finishes the race too. And we just for like say just for like fan sake, I'm not a huge Lando fan, but I want him to be competing for a world championship again this year. There's
Yeah.
nothing point of like winning the championship and not being able to defend it based on your machinery.
Yes, it's an absolutely brutal feeling. Like, even though the Red Bull wasn't super competitive for most of last season, we still got Max in it, putting the pressure on toward
Hmm.
the end. But he's like, Lando's not even in the conversation at this point in time. No one's even thinking about it, right?
Yep.
And Max at least had a couple seasons in a row where he was able to kind of pull that out.
Well, and it was
So,
just a matter of like his teammate not being able to score any points, right? We weren't talking
yes,
about Max having bad weekends. It was more so his teammate wasn't having a bad weekend in that regards.
exactly. So, I would love if Oscar could both start and finish this race.
Well, speaking of Red Bull, and so we're gonna go to that shift to that. That's it. So Oscar starting your finish race, or were you returning home to Yuki Tsunoda's hometown or home ground? Let's put it that way. He doesn't race in F1 this season, but he is a reserve driver for Red Bull. And would you rather have Oscar starting and finishing a race, or Yuki making a guest appearance this weekend?
Oh, this one's tough because I love Yuki and I think he's such a fun presence to
I
have
think
on
he gets a
screen.
bad rap, man. I really do. He gets a raw end of the deal.
He gets such a raw, like it's just, he always is the butt end of the joke and stuff like that. But as much as I genuinely would love that. And I do hope that like we see him in the garage and they talk about his hometown and like all, one of the last Japanese drivers to race in the sport, most recently. I would love for Oscar to start and finish a race. More than I would like to see Yuki, but I do hope that we get to see his little smiley face on screen.
I do hope we get both, but if we were to have one of the two, I agree. Just Oscar's already finishing a race, just focusing in the moment on the season in that
Exactly.
regards. Okay. Another fun part about Suzuka is that the fans have some of the best merchandise and some of the best homemade merchandise I find in terms of their hat wear. So, would you rather have Oscar starting and finishing a race or the return of the big F1 hats?
Oh, that's so tough. Some of the hats are so fun. Like there have been people with working rear wings. Like there have been people with like comically large, like fake cars on their head or just really large racing helmet. Like I don't know. There's
It
just
would be
been
so cool if they had a hat this year where like the brim or the bill of the hat is like the front wing and it can active arrow flip down and up.
oh, someone's going to do that.
Yeah.
If someone has done that with the rear wing for DRS and stuff, you know that they're gonna put the time in to figure this out. I do think it'll make them look a little bit like a hammerhead shark, but I'm also thinking that that would be even more of a reason for them to show them on camera. I kind of listen, I love Oscar and I love McLaren, but I'm kind of in it for the drama and the entertainment value. I kind of want to see the hats.
Damn right I want to see the hats. I would love to see the hats. And the thing is, it would be hilarious if like the wing was up and then someone's like, buddy, I can't see, and he just flips it down.
It's almost like a visor of sorts and stuff.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know if you saw, but the F1 merch for the Japanese Grand Prix, where they had like the baseball jerseys and a bunch of stuff, and they worked the
Oh.
cherry blossoms in. Not that I am looking to buy any new merch, but if I were to, this is the stuff I would buy. It's
Well,
absolutely stunning.
and we got teams that are doing we have like I believe Mercedes has like a wolf on their front wing this
Mhm.
week as part of like their Ode to Japanese Grand Prix. Godzilla, I believe, is on the Haas. I forget. But they're like teams are coming with special liveries for this weekend, which are going to
You've
be
got
so,
Godzilla on it.
yeah, yeah. Well, of course.
Is that insensitive?
I don't know, but I
Actually, no,
get
I take that back. It's only insensitive if it's on the Aston Martin that's causing an earthquake.
every time when I saw that, I first thought I saw that scene in I think, is it Austin Powers Man of International Man of Mystery when they're running away from like the fake Godzilla that's operated by Mini-Me
Oh my
in
God.
Japan, but they couldn't call it because of international copyright laws. It's not Godzilla.
Oh,
But
yes.
then they had
Yeah.
them to run like it was. It was like such a great scene.
Oh my God. Run from the non-licensed.
It was perfect. Awesome. Okay, so return to big hats. All right, final one. Return of the big F1 hats or a rain start, because we've seen in the past a rain start has added to complete chaos. And we like a little bit of chaos
I do
in the
want a little
race.
bit. Yeah, I kind of want a little bit of chaos, right? Like I want everyone to start, but if they crash out immediately, that's fine. At least they got off to a start. So I would rather have that. Oh, but I love the big hats. Oh, this is tough. And I'm also maybe regretting some of my other choices and wishing they were here at the end of it. But you know what? For the sake of racing and racing quality, and I feel like I do have to put that above, and that's what we've been complaining about so far this season because we haven't got what we've wanted with the new
Yeah.
regulations. I'm going to say rain start. Let's make it interesting.
Here we go.
Let's get everyone out of the gate and then immediately going back into the gate because it's not going well for them under the slick conditions.
Well, that might be the only way Aston Martin scored points this week.
Hey, stranger things have happened, right?
Exactly. So that was our edition of This or That for the Japanese Grand Prix. Erica, do you have any final thoughts for this week?
My final thoughts for this week are I would like everyone to pull it together and to cut it out with this nonsense. Um, but in all seriousness, I just want us to get to good, clean, fun racing that is exciting and has us maybe see some of these teams who have like just been on the cusp of
Hmm.
entering the conversation. Like I would love to see Behrman in there. I would love to see Hulkenberg in the points because they have been like so close to like fighting for the front of the grid or fighting to get points and making it entertaining. And I really just want all the millionaires that we pay to go vroom vroom around the track to actually go vroom vroom around the track.
So then, speaking, what's your bold prediction for this weekend?
My bold prediction for this weekend, Valtteri Bottas in the points.
Nice. Mine is that Max Verstappen's actually going to bag a podium in that brick of a Red Bull.
You know what? If anyone could do it though, I do think Max is the guy to pull that off. So I'm with
He's
you on that
pissed
one.
from his Nordschleife
He's
disqualification, which he wiped the field with. So he's gonna have, as
he's got
much.
an axe to
He's
grind.
got an axe to
He's
grind,
got a
and
point to prove.
Suzuka is his baby. You know what I mean? Like he kills it there.
Yeah,
Um,
gotta get that fifth annual win.
exactly. And as much as I could say, we will be at the Garden Bar in Bodega in Toronto watching the race this weekend. Call the bar ahead to book a spot. But yeah, this is our episode, season 6, episode 7 already. Holy Jesus, of the F1 podcast. I'm Andrew. This is Erica. Follow
Hi.
us on our Linktree accounts. That's Ollie. And we will see you next week where we will review the Japanese Grand Prix, where maybe Ollie finishes in the points. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
But everyone, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.